Alright, let me tell you what the original plans for how was going to go. I was going to cover the 7th layer known as Violence, and then the Prime Sanctums once I finished the Linux video. I had an elaborate intro and everything. But the Finnish Fumo salesman and the ragtag team behind had other plans, when he announced that Fraud is definitely coming shortly. So I looked at the news from the subreddit and I had to be 100% sure if that's a shitpost or not, because fans be like that. 1 month prior to that, however, I simply replayed on violent difficulty just because I want to sharpen up the Fraud and don't want to use old footage that's recorded last year. So new plan. Fraud is out, and it's the perfect time to get freaky. I'm not gonna go out to do this willy-nilly. Mankind is dead, blood is fuel, hell is full, and I finally got time to... So enough wasting time, let us dive back into the circle of violence. Violence is a layer like no other. It's a lengthy one, but there are things to talk about, like entering the place. Not exactly what you had in mind when it comes down to a layer called Violence. It's too clean, porcelain, devoid of color. The only thing here that has some color are these bloody mannequins striking JoJo poses at me. But what if I told you that this level in particular is lengthy as hell because this is a maze? Well, let's see why this layer is like that. The reason why it's too clean and white is not because of some divine bullshit. It's a canvas for the art of what I'm about to do. Damn, son, you got the whole squad laughing. I'll just be over here and oh god! Them mannequins not only move ridiculously fast, but they can Spider-Man their way up walls and ceilings. But they hit hard and shoot slow homing projectiles. Their weakness, however, is that not only they're weak, but they can be one-shotted by their own homers. Literal glass cannons, if you will. Ah, damn, I gotta fight this thing. You know, gotta love the fact the game gives you kills despite the enemy did it. Anyways, there's another blue altar here and... Fine, have it your way. There's also another secret. Blue skull and a headless mannequin, huh? I see where this is going. Big John, the man, the myth, the legend. Now Big John is definitely Dave Ostreet's thing ever since Rise of the Triad in 2013. Ultrakill's interpretation renders him as a robot. Big Johninator is seemingly a very tough boss to fight. His attacks cannot be parried, and if you noticed, he shoots rockets that'll blast your ass if you're careless. But your blue rocket launcher secondary has a hidden property. It can also stop the enemy's rockets. That and flip the tables on them. Yeah, that's right. Give me that 10 Commandments. After committing acts of violence against Cerberoi, mannequins, mind flayers, and Maurice, I descend to the underground. Oh look, another tram ride. Yeah, that's right, piss off, peons. Oh hey, you like the boss encounter with the hand of Minos? Well, get ready to die many more times with formerly Minotaur. This is one of the toughest non-Gabriel fights I've faced. Minotaur can hit me hard, spew acid, and there isn't enough wiggle room to go around. Even when that bastard started blowing up the trams. To make this a tad worse, is that it's heavily armored, with the weak point being the belly, which, fun fact, Hakita borrowed the Jiggle Physics code for some furry porn game from what I heard. After defeating this thing, the exit door is open and oh, come on! One thing the game does best is that it skips you the bullshit. Rest in piss, bozo. Second part, I haven't got the secret on Violent. The footage from a playthrough on Normal did, though. You gotta be quick on this, because the game gives you a very tight time limit. This is only one of 3. The reward will be great, trust me. Anyways, new mini-boss, the Gutter Man. Big juggernaut bastards who will come in like a freight train and bane the Ultrakill players because they're much tougher to kill, and ranked way up high in the tier list of enemy priority, as in prime target. The shield is a huge problem because it can't be pierced, but you can break it with those knuckle blasters you haven't used after the first layer of layer 2. Now this is atmosphere. The dark cloudy night. Hot bullets flying across the sky, these llama-looking ass creatures in the distance through lightning flashes, and the blood lakes. We have entered a violence layer representing violence against others. Now the game's taken the gloves off, because of the combinations, and the first bit is our Gutterman friend and a source machine. Now analyze this clip. I focus on the Gunnerman to break the riot shield, apply lube, make him spicy, nail him, dump some saw blades and hot nails, and then chainsaw the sword machine while fisting him. Focus on the other Gunnerman who appeared, break shield, immolate, nail, saw blades, and finish him off. But what about with sentries? Breaking the gutter shield is top priority. Also, a reminder that you can fist a sentry with the red arm to knock off their attack phase. Wanna see an evil room? second button is through this corridor, and luckily you can go back there because good level design. So there's an exit to my left, but this requires a bigger boom than what I have. You need this tram to get to the loading bay and get yourself a bomb. After not getting spit roasted by 2 guttermen and introduce some landmines, we meet another juggernaut, the gutter tanks. Designed to solely one-up the gutterman, it's now equipped with explosive weaponry, including rockets and landmines. They're actually not that tough against a regular gutterman because it doesn't hit scare. Anyways, the last button is a pain in the ass, but boy, the reward would be great. First, drop the payload, and then this button. Who wants a new melee weapon? The jackhammer is a nasty piece of kit, in the right hands. If not, then it's kinda useless. It's a tricky weapon to master because of timing. Hold the fire button to charge up the hammer, right click to core eject, and release the fire button to turn the core into a makeshift howitzer. Part 3 is the one representing the violence against yourself kind of deal. You know, the self-harm and suicide bit. The game cranked up the spooks to maximum, as you can see with these unsettling man trees here. Sentient blood beans, huh? So you see this tree? You needed to fill it with blood from your enemies. There's only 2 more trees to fill after the first one, and I noticed this bush here blocking the gate. Each battle is more challenging. You gotta learn how to prioritize enemies, or else you're going to get overwhelmed. Also, guess what happens now? Enemies start to infight. Oh, by the way, if you're a fan of Twisted Metal, then there's a secret that will make the AI behavior target you, and only you. After the 3rd tree is set, the next door opens and... Oh, right, I need those alive, do I? Thank you, and goodbye. Each layer has its own secret level, while the last layer for each act have the Prime Sanctums. The Prelude is a horror-themed maze, Limbo is the Witness, Lust is the dating sim, Greed is Crash Bandicoot with V1 and slippery controls, Wrath is fishing, and Violence? A normal Ultrakill level. A brutal one in fact, especially the outside pond area with a hideous mask, Maurice, and 2 guttermen. Huh, well that's disappointing. Well, on to the next... Wait, what's this? Ah, crap. Not only did the level pull a twist on me, now I have to play Viscera Cleanup Detail, Ultrakill Edition. I set the gore up high, so I gotta clean off all of this. I'm gonna leave a link for the full cleanup on this level. Took me over a half hour to clean it off. got a handy list of details for each room and location needs to be dealt with. Gutterman and Maurice can be ground pounded. You can drain the blood pond with a vacuum. You can put Swords Machine to his fucking place. And once the whole house is cleaned, the exit opens. Oh, right, the testaments. If the odd rumor is true, then these are God's testaments. And when he witnessed mankind going to shit, it just went up and disappeared. Yeah, don't ask. On with the climax. This level is a masterpiece. Not only this is a perfect end to this layer, but once you saw the legs of a walking war machine, the health bar appears. And know that this thing is not a war cry, but a cry of terror. Yeah, those things from 7.2 is foreshadowing. It also contained my absolute favorite track of the game, War Without Reason. Wanna know the pet name for this 1000 THR Earth Mover? You may consider Thor because of the name, but no. It's Benjamin. I just don't get this community sometimes. Anyways, like attendants to heaven represent violence against God and nature, and this creature we're scaling through is an affront to God. The enemies lurk over this Earth Mover, and this is indeed a war of efforts. But remember enemy combinations. Ever wonder why this thing ain't moving? Tree roots got a hold of them legs, because of the blood trees I've fed from the last level. Now take out the defense systems that bleed. Alternatively, you could skip this fight, if you explore the place good enough. The idols have this behavior that'll send you flying after it was destroyed. Jackhammer doesn't help. Now these magenta laser beams are new. In the previous build, the floor here is extra spicy, but that seems too boring. As the Earth Mover lobotomized, I descend to make my escape, but not without a fight. And so I witnessed the death of the walking llama fortress as it showers with blood, like it's a Slayer song. I was greeted to this screen that Fraud is still in development. And then, Fraud came out. The following footage is me playing through this day 1 of the update. Now some bits may be patched, notably some bugs that broke previous mechanics. Oh, and expect skill issues. Ever wonder why Hikita and crew took forever to get this done? Well, the revamp wasn't helping, but this layer is a technical nightmare. There are some running jokes that we got X before Fraud, and some fan-made interpretations of the following layers. This one I had to wait, long after I initially finished layer 7 for this very video. Fraud is a certified non-Euclidean mindfuck of a layer. It makes the Escher labs from Dusk look quaint in comparison. Anyways, remember those virtues? Yeah, I guess you kinda forgot that these were the only angelic enemy you had to face. Well, guess what? Providence is your second angel type enemy who does this at you. Oh, and you remember the purple beams from last level? Have fun dodging those. However, just like the virtues, they can be one shot with a rail cannon and leave the orb you can grapple for health. Oh, and that explodes too. 8-1 plays with this sorcery by going from room over room, fight enemies through distinct portals, and other crazy shenanigans. It's also the hardest layer, even on normal. Anyways, here's some Ultra lore. We get to see God in all his melted glory, and a tapestry of Gabriel and the Holy Power Rangers, with one missing, which, spoilers for the Holy Bible, it's likely Lucifer. After getting the key, and you think you entered his exit, the game pulled this. The battles will get insane from now on. No more cover, no more cheesy tactics. The whole place wants your robo-ass dead. Even the return of the insurrectionist wants a piece. Blast Room is all sorts of bullshit. First off, there's a virtue camping orbital strikes at you, and on Violent, they get pissed at their 5 missed shots. Then there's 2 Maurices on the opposite sides of the middle building, while being pelted by strays on the next building. The real bullshit is the fact the game can't handle all this pandemonium. I can't tell if it's my hardware or their game engine. The frame rate dips hard. Plus, while doing that, the second wave spawns a virtue with 3-step verification, while being dogged by schisms and source machines. And more Providence after making the orbital Death Striker vulnerable. Fortunately, the post-fraud patch did optimize the performance by making the portals from far away not render, negating all this lag. Starts slow, showing off the dark magic the devs coded. Also some arcane illusion that no other developer in the modern age ever did. Functioning mirrors. There is an Easter egg room showing the developer plushies working in the portal mines, and a piece of dev lore stating that this took them over a year to get the portal mechanics working. Some surprise fights come here and there, but here's a new stationary enemy, the Death Catcher. These fuckers resurrect dead enemies as blood puppets, and they could use the same moves too. The way to open its cage is to kill waves of enemies, and they'll notify you because they can't stop beeping. By this point, I ended up getting lost. I stumbled upon the place from where I started, found the Twin Peaks Easter egg, read some Ultra lore, found the correct path where I needed to go.
Oh, we were right there, man!
The patch changed the level a bit to make it more easier, and found V1 dead in a random room like he's a puppet or something. Also, boss time. I think they referenced some humans drawn by Rob Liefeld. This big target isn't much, but its second phase where it fucks off the Remira realm, rendering it invisible. And the way to deal with justice is, well, look through the mirror. The first time I defeated this boss, it looked like it ate my nails. Oh right, and those hands the Reaper spawn cannot be killed before the patch, which I'm guessing that's a bug. What I've heard from Hakita himself, the P rank time for E3 is longer than the combined times of Greed for Violence. It's an endurance round, and we step inside Limbo. Guess I could beat this quite easily. Oh. This is giving me some Dusk vibes right now. You know, the later level known as Homecoming, where you fight through hordes of enemies with the mashup of previous levels. Not only that, it's even more insane with this non-Euclidean stuff. Oh man, the game's turning my enemy priority chart into utter uselessness because of the combinations. And once I'm done with one room, I enter... Oh. Oh no. No, 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 no.
Alan, we are so fucked.
Wanna know what kind of dread I'm feeling when revisiting this specific room? I wasn't expecting this one to come in. I wasn't expecting Gabriel until the final boss, but guess what? It's worse.
Oh! Where is Gabriel, and what have you done to him? Spear! Over here! Just another worthless object. Take it! Straight forward!
The game's holding their angel enemies until way late in the game. These Gabriel Glazers called Powers had the same moves as you do, but less health and more predictable. Not only that, they get second phases, beating the dog shit out of me any way they can. The only notable trait is that when there's two or more, they tag team to beat your ass. Spear attacks are the worst though.
Over here! Over here! Over here!
I recorded a separate clip of me trying to beat the 3 angels in this very room, and it took me 25 minutes to do so, and that's not all. They got no health bar, meaning that I have more coming up. Until the patch where they do, with names, and render them slightly slower. Officially from Hakita himself, the angels are genderless, but that doesn't stop certain artists to get freaky with them. The voices from the powers sound feminine to represent their rank or respect, but officially from me, I'm calling them twinks, like polyester and polyurethane. Shut up. After getting the flow down, by that I mean dumb luck, the next room is another hell room full of low tier enemies in great numbers, assisted by Sentries and Andre. Oh, and another twink on a second wave, backed up by Schisms and Pepsi Men. There's a funny way to deal with certain enemies, by blasting them with a rocket to fall through an endless long Euclidean pit. They fall down faster and faster until they become explosives. After that, the game cuts you a break with a split door. Either way, get fucked by devious enemy combinations at tight rooms. Looks like we've come full circle, lads. Exits that away. Time to Ultrakill in space, I presume, and guess what? Small platforms with fucked up gravity properties, enemies on sideways, upside down, and whenever I die, I respawn in the opposite direction with fucks with me. In other words, this is the hardest gauntlet, like how this song to accompany it. The last arena with the guns akimbo is not only laggy as hell, but the most brutal fight I have to endure, next to the Gabriel room earlier in the level. This wave spawns 2 Maurices with some mannequins, then a pair of Guttermen and Gutter tanks, and lastly, another twink with a bloody schism and some swords machines. Fucking finally. Now let's deal with the boss. '8-4 is fortunately much easier than the last one. I gotta grab some skulls here and there, and then I enter this elevator, expecting to fight V2, but no. V2 was 100% dead, we saw that. It also had a new mechanic just for this level. Oh, you want me to face these shits? Sure, I game. And here we are, facing the dragon. This Greymon. No, wait. This Garyon, Watcher of the Skies, had some nasty orbital strikes, spans pink lasers, and pulls giga shockwaves. Luckily, this beast isn't armored, and I only died twice to this very level. However, the pre-patch version is quite underwhelming, but this hotfix just adds a second phase, and he is a tanky motherfucker. Time to slay the dragon again. Damn, wasn't expecting cutscene here, but yeah. Fraud has been conquered, but feels like I got skill issues in hand from all that has beaten. However, repeated playthroughs and sandboxing with the new enemies did improve my rank. Anyways, I put these twinks as part of priority target, and Providence and Deathcatchers on alpha tier. Also moved the schisms up to mid because they dog at me in Fraud. Rest assured you that my head hurts after dealing with this layer for the first time. I may have some issues, but once you figure out the room layouts and perhaps exploit the non-Euclidean environment, then this will be a tough challenge. It's best recommended to try this at a lower skill before hitting on the violent like me. Treachery won't be long. By that I mean give or take another 6 months. Then those Prime Sanctums. And maybe the Encore levels as a bonus. Can't wait for Ultrakill to finally get out of the 9 circles of early access hell for over 8 years. Also, want to know my own sense of fraudulence? I usually edit these videos using HitFilm on Windows, but not this time. Well, I've been using Kden Live on Linux. HitFilm I use for very specific tasks, like the title cards and, well, the Smiling Friends bit. Anyways, next time it's gonna be something else, and I have no idea what. So, see ya.